Greetings humanity, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is the premiere of a new campaign of the Ninefox Gambit RPG, a dystopian military sci-fi game based on the machineries of empire stories by Yoon Ha Lee. And I am very excited for this. We're going to go ahead and go around and say hi to the folks that we have with us here today, then we will be we will be handing everything over to our calendar, who will be in to whom we owe all existence. So we're going to be starting with Pope. Hello.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Really stoked to be here playing something that feels very much familiar, but is entirely different and entirely new to me. So I am looking with such like anticipation to what's going on for what will probably be an incredibly dark journey. I will be playing Fedona Duncan. You will get to meet him soon. Bit of a spoiler, this may be the darkest and most depraved character I have ever played on AP.
This is gonna be fun.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure everything will be fine. Awesome. And we're going to head over to a new face on the channel, Ewan. Hello.
Hi, I'm Ewan. I am also stoked to be here. I don't stream much, so this is a bit of a novel experience for me. Very excited about this RPG as I have read the books and really love the universe. I'm playing Nirai Tace. We will meet soon. This is not the darkest and most depraved character I've ever played. Could be the dorkest character that I've ever played. We will see.
Excellent. Unfortunately, unfortunately Nikki could not be with us this evening. But as he's got real life happening to him, but he will be playing in future installments. But alas, real life got him. But all will be well. Before I hand things over to our calendar, as a reminder, you may see us use safety tools from time to time, like we do with the other games on this channel. We're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. Just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for player versus player conflict depending on choices made, and may contain references to assimilation, brutality, atrocity, capitalism, colonialism, genocide, torture, hegemony, human sacrifice, and imperialism. This is a very heavy setting, just so folks will know. So do whatever you need to keep yourself safe. I am going to, if you want to see the list of content warnings live on Twitch, you can type !9CW, NINECW, and that will pop up. It also should be coming up regularly on rotation. And also, please remember, we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. There will be. There's going to be tech demons possibly a little bit today. There's some background video thingies that seem not to be working perfectly right now, so I'm going to be working on that in the background. I neglected to mention I am playing Rahal Graydon, who right now there's a lot I still don't know about him, but he is fairly fanatical on a number of points. I'm just going to put it that way for right now. and we'll sort of see where things go. And which tells me I don't know. I might not play this character long, depending on how things come out. But we'll have to see. Just gotta see how that assimilation comes along. But we shall now hand things over to our calendar. Hollow, hello.
Hello. Yes, I am the calendar. So in Ninefox Gambit, the word calendar is going to come up a lot, and I'm going to explain a bit why. So the players here, and maybe even you at home, are citizens of the Hexarchate, a tyrannical empire that spans countless systems and star fortresses. The vast majority of the population labors under the rule of 6 Hexarchs and the factions that they control. In exchange for power or prestige, our players here have joined a faction. And these are the truths that they know. The Hexarch's technologies depend on consensus mechanics, with the population holding identical beliefs. Heretics who defy its laws and traditions, collectively known as the High Calendar, threaten everything from the functioning of FTL star drives to medical care and power generation. The ritual sacrifice of heretics, a practice demanded by the High Calendar, is a small price to pay for the collective good, a price that may increasingly trouble our players here at the table. But the Hexarchate is at war, and without the great and terrible weapons fueled by those sacrifices, it would lose. And as awful as the Hexarchate is, its enemies, so the papers say, are worse. Now, we have our players here. Our players are members of a faction, and I'm going to let them talk a bit about what they know about their faction before we get started. And we'll start with Ewan.
Sure. Tace, who I'm playing, is part of the Nirai. The Nirai faction is kind of the techies. It's all the technologists, engineers, inventors, and some medical work as well. They're, if you need a nerd club, it's kind of the nerd club. That's what I know.
All right.
They are responsible for kind of building / growing and creating the setting up the starships in this setting, which are called moths. That's it.
All right. I'm Pope.
Yes, Duncan has joined with the Vidona. One of the things that you will see on this wonderful overlay, each of these different groups has a symbol. Vidona's is the stingray. They also have like colors and mottos. Vidona's colors are green, bronze. The motto is "Through blood we prevail." Don't let it disturb you at all. The Vidona are a group that is charged with indoctrination and the upholding of the Hexarchy's laws, and are the ones that do the sacrificing on those glorious remembrance days that keeps everything running. Also, they may have some sort of very bad touch, but we'll explore that later.
Yes. All right, thanks. And Jim.
Hello. I am playing Rahal Graydon, and the Rahal are essentially the ones who make and enforce the laws. They legislate things. They maintain the High Calendar and its regulations, rather, I should say. And they are their motto is "Many lenses, one mind." Their symbol is the wolf. And they wear gray and bronze, and this for some reason they spoke to me. I'm not sure when I was reading. I'm not sure what it means, but I'm sure we'll find out.
kind of lawmakers versus law enforcement.
That's true.
Done
Yes,
that,
these are
right?
the I misspoke. I think there's a different faction that actually drafts up, makes the laws. Probably, if I remember right, we're the ones.
I thought that was that was
Is
you.
it? Is it
Yeah,
us?
not you.
You
Who
were
are we?
essentially part of the group that, to put in Vampire Requiem terms, for those of you who enjoyed the Ordo Dracul, he is a member of the Black. He is an Onyx. He is part of the group that
Yeah, there it is.
debates and makes the laws, as well as may look at people and see whether or not they are obeying those designer laws.
Yes. Okay. All right. Cool. Yes, I for some reason there was a thing about that I got in my brain mixed up with the Andon for a second, but it's all clear now. It was as I thought. Good. Excellent. Cool.
All right. And when Nikki's able to join us again, I'll have them explain a bit about their faction. But for right now, this game is a fate-like game, so players have edges and can potentially have complications on their character sheets based on things that happen to them in the course of this game. And a big thing we talked about in the content warning is assimilation. Now, if you look over to my left, might be your right, you'll see that there are two symbols: the hex arcade symbol and the party symbol. These things are denoting how close our party is to total assimilation, or how close the hex arcade is to complete chaos or total rule. If a player at any point in this game would reach the 6 on their dial, they will be immediately assimilated into the hex arcade. They've bought all the way in, and they will hand their sheet to me. There are ways to forestall that. We will go over those when the time comes. And if they ever reaches 1, they've crashed out, and they are no longer in alignment so much with the rules of the hex arcade that they can't get anything done. Because you have to align someone with the system to take benefit of the system. This governs your dice rolls, which I forgot to mention. So right now, when our players make a roll, when they roll, it will be all ones will be successes, but anything else will be a failure. 2 clock, 1s, 2s, 3 clock, 1, 2, 3, and so on. It is completely possible that a player might need a new little symbol and a new character sheet in the course of this game. Really depends on how hard they go. Can you speed run to assimilation?
We're gonna find out.
I was gonna say,
We're
I
gonna
feel
find out.
feel like one of you two is gonna find out.
Yeah, probably those two. Well, be that as it may, that is the world that our characters find themselves living in. Currently, through maybe some fault of their own, or maybe due to some fanatical beliefs, or maybe due to some needing to maintain doctrine for the calendar, our PCs have found themselves on the Void Moth, which is a ship that it's an interstellar ship, big wings, sleek backs, metal carapace, and they find themselves flying through space on the Void Moth's shattered skies, on their way to an unknown destination. They've only been briefed that that they've received this job and they are here and they are to work as a unit, and they'll be briefed momentarily. But before that briefing, they've all found themselves in a room, and they have been partitioned off from the rest of the ship. They have been told that they have their own handlers, their own people, and the rest of the Void Moth crew will be carrying on with the voyage. Greetings. Welcome to the Hex Arcade.
tense silence. We're all looking mistrustfully at each other.
I'm just smiling. So, I think that my character is about. I want to say he looks like he's like around 40-ish, and he's wearing his very sort of clean uniform, with the the gray and bronze uniform, and he is also wearing gloves, that I don't think he ever takes off. For the most part, anyway. And he's just basically he seems happy to see everyone. And but he's not exactly gregarious, but but he's if things have been silent thus far, he's happy to let the silence sit. His shadow is probably close to the wolf-looking thing that we tend to have. I expect, and until such time as my brain comes up with a more interesting thing for it to do, but it just sort of his shadow tends to sit and wait patiently. Just sort of gives that aura, regardless of anything he seems to be doing.
I like to think that Duncan is sitting at the table. There's a Newton's cradle in front of him that he's just kind of playing with, not paying mind to anyone else in the room. For all of us, I want you to picture half four, the Mountain, the actor who played the Mountain on Game of Thrones. He is a very, very large man. One who pays no notice to how much he just takes up a room. And as you look around, you really don't see his shadow. It's quite small. If one searches for it, they just find, made out of the darkness, what looks like a tiny open box. And he is just there, like, mindfully, like, taking two of the elements of Newton's cradle, just raising them up, like, all the way to parallel, but then, like, lowering it slightly to where, like, it gradually, to a point where one of the edges of his lips curl into a very mild smile as he just lets them go and breaks the silence with just the clacking of the Newton's cradle.
Taste jumps a little bit every time there's a clack. Tace is not a large man. He's kind of a reedy little dude. Wavy hair down to his shoulders, kind of limp. Sort of pallid, like maybe a little bit unhealthy looking. Kind of little jumpy, little kind of nervous. Has big glasses that have got to be an affectation because this is, the space opera future where people can fix their eyes anytime they want. It's really easy. So yeah, big glasses, and not brave enough to talk to anybody, but kind of looking everywhere, but at eye contact with anybody else right now. This is a very uncomfortable place for me to be. I'm kind of wondering if I'm in trouble at this point. but surely they would send more than one Rahal to excavate my mind and find out all my heresies. So it's just a weird position to be in.
So, actually, when you jump at that, it'll just sort of I'll go ahead and break the silence. As just sort of looking, just sort of seeing what's been happening, I'll just sort of smile and say, "Not a fan of office toys, I take it."
Well, I mean, no, we have those. I just maybe they're good. They're good for fidgeting. They're, if you just need to fidget a little bit. Which I imagine it's very soothing. Yeah.
It has a rhythm. To it. It's good.
Yeah. I'm gonna die.
And just sort of nodding and kind of now bopping my head a little bit to the rhythm of the of the Newton's cradle.
All right. In the Hex Arcade, the High Calendar has 12 months for 2 for each faction, and there are 30 days in the month, 30 hours in the day, 100 minutes in an hour, and 100 seconds in a minute. The only thing not governed by the Hex Arcade, strangely enough, are the days in a week. As long as your month has 30 days in it, it's fine. Just a weird side note. But as you are all sitting, a group of servitors. Servitors are small robots that seem to speak or at least inflect in some ways with patterned colored lights. For the most part, they are generally ignored because they do a lot of the work around the ship, and that's all they do. They come in with food for the 3 of you, and they come in with trays with covered dishes on them. Aside from the food, this is a separate tray, one for each of you, just a covered dome, and they sit that down, and then a computer voice reminds you that today is the 5th day in the month of the wolf. Today's remembrance is the remembrance of stillborn friendships. Please meditate today on our choice selection of heretics, those who thought that they could defy the Hex Arcade and bring ruin to us all, as they smiled as friends. For the Vidona in the room, this remembrance specifically came about due to several longtime allies of the Hex Arcade suddenly turning away from the calendar and stopping trade.
I peek under the extra dome.
Under the extra dome, it is a list of axioms about what an actual friend should be.
I am incredibly thankful to have something to look at that is not, the other people in this room. I just kind of bury my face in this. I'm reading it very intently. I'm meditating. I'm meditating so hard. Look at what a good citizen I am. Doing it.
A true friend is someone who accepts you and accepts your way of life because they have integrated your way of life with their way of life, because they understand community. Friends understand togetherness. Friends understand unity. As the servers leave, a small view screen will appear for today's meditation and today's remembrance, as these heretics who are standing on a dais with a high-ranking Vidona, a member of Duncan's faction, ritually splitting their lying faces. As the weeping tears, the blood are collected into a bowl to bathe their treacherous feet that they walked away from us on.
Duncan looks at the screen, looking up from the Newton's cradle, sees what's going on. Not one of my personal favorites. It's so messy. Necessary, but messy.
The remembrance has a recommended meditation and chant time of exactly 34 minutes.
And we gotta do this before we eat.
You gotta do it before you eat.
Yeah, it's the rules.
Yep.
I just start following along with the view screens, the video, do the chant, do the meditation. It's pretty rote.
Graydon has his own tuning fork, which he uses to start his chant.
I jump.
And he's very he has his eyes closed and is doing this, has his hands up when he is chanting. At times.
After the recommended meditation time, you are allowed to eat. For those of you who may have noticed, there was one servitor in the corner, always watching you.
Their furniture.
And then it leaves after the meditations are done.
Thank goodness there is something else for me to look at that is not the two people in this room. I start eating. Single-minded determination. Yes.
In front of Duncan, I can just imagine the plate, or plates in this case. There's a large bowl of rice, obviously covered in some form of sauce, with a few sliced scallions on top. There's a large omelet. Smells heavily of butter, onions, mushrooms, and then a small bit of chopped steak, 3 oysters on the half shell, and a massive mug of orange juice. As he's digging into all of this again.
Whatever your orders were, they also come with a side of pickled vegetables. You can't seem to get away from them. You've been on the ship now for about 4 days, and you can't seem to get away from. No matter what you order, it also comes with a side dish of pickled vegetables.
Garnish at this point.
Duncan takes this as one of the rules in order to keep the moth running, so he just eats it every time. And if anyone leaves any of the pickled vegetables for his own beliefs, he will eat those as well.
I don't touch them. I'm just I'm eating my porridge over here.
Graydon is grateful for the pickled vegetables because what he typically orders to eat is usually some type of gruel. That's terribly bland and uninteresting. Um, and it's a very controllable meal, and the pickled vegetables are a delightful bit of color added to this thing that he's very grateful that the Hexarchate has provided him with.
Oh, my porridge is nice. It's full of like fruit and nuts and stuff, and there's like an egg whisked into it and stuff. It's a pretty hearty. You'd think if I eat this all the time, I wouldn't be so, so greedy, but happens. The old bowl. I'm
Nutrition is
trying.
important. As like Duncan breaks the awkward silence just jovially. Nutrition is important.
Yeah.
I see you haven't touched your pickles.
Oh, yeah. Do you want them?
If you're not
I'm-
going to eat them,
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not super hungry. You can absolutely. I'll kind of. My hand is shaking a little bit as I hand it off, and I'm like really, I'm trying really hard not to accidentally brush his hand or something.
Thank you.
Oh, no
Well,
pity.
I'm surprised though.
Very gift.
I'd figure with your ties to the technology of this vessel, you wouldn't decline such a thing in order to keep everything running smoothly.
Oh well, I mean, I think it's really just the Kel just like them. I think they just kind of assume everyone else likes them, and I guess I'm not a huge fan. Like I'll eat them sometimes, but like I'm just not feeling it today. If you know what I mean. I'm just
So-
little iffy. My guts are just Anyway,
So the pickles aren't a necessary oblation.
I don't believe so, but surely you would know better than me.
Hmm. I'll have to check into this further.
Okay.
Interesting.
During your conversation, your augments are wire thin technology that has been placed into you cranially at some point. Kind of gives you a small heads up display at times and information about where you are in the ship. And your augment announces that Kel N is at the door.
Do we have to answer it, or
Oh,
do we?
excuse me. Gets up, goes to the door. Welcome, Calvin. Please come in.
Kel N is a woman of about 6 feet tall, nowhere near as mountainous as our mountain Vidona here. They are tall and slender, but wiry. They've got this a very like a wiry fighter's body. They are wearing a black uniform with gold piping, and they have a commander's insignia on their breast. Thank you for welcoming me. I know that you all have been cooped up here for quite some time. Doctrine thought it necessary for your mission.
Okay.
Have you come to brief us, Commander?
I have.
Excellent.
Right now, there is a localized calendrical anomaly. It has the fluctuations have been seen on a chain of worlds on the outer edge of the Hexarchate. You have all been placed here to maintain calendrical purity as you walk into a potentially hostile zone of a hostile calendrical gradient.
Hmm.
Okay. Do we is it do we think that another foreigners are influencing it, or do we think there's some kind of spy operation? Because I would think maybe like a Shuos would be able to counter spy that better than
Shuos, bureaucrats, spies, and assassins they are, they haven't turned up much. And Kel Command has decided, with the guidance of the other Hexarchs, that we want the team on the ground to do some reporting, something small.
Pardon me, Commander. Is this an exploratory mission, or is this a force recon mission?
It's going to turn, to be quite honest, it's going to turn into whatever you see fit, as you'll be running doctrine on this mission, along with your counterpart here, as they point to our resident Rahal.
So I guess it is exploratory to then become force recon.
Oh, well, we just don't know yet, but it's going to be exciting to find out, I think. Unless there's more information about what they're up to out there.
No, but running tactical will be Narai Tace here.
yeah. Okay, that is me. That would be
Yes,
that would be my specialty.
right. Yes. You will all be seconded to a Kel for this mission.
Of course.
And they will be arriving shortly.
Excellent.
Commander, do you have any particular, with this anomaly, any particular signs that we should keep our eyes open for? Any potential suspects?
The
as to-
fluctuations seem to be subtle. Our guesses are it's a local calendar dispute, or someone adhering to maybe something of their old faiths. It could be just as small as that, but the fluctuations were picked up in a scattered chain of worlds around here. So you will be equipped with a shadow moth, and for local conveyance.
Excellent.
And you will report on the situation and advise on next steps.
Have they told us the
Very-
name of the world or the destination? Did we know that already, or is that yet to be revealed?
They have not named the world yet. They are being very, very just kind of blunt about that. Just go walking around that. A briefing usually would say where you're going, and your augments are not telling you where in space you are, which they normally would, because they would be connected to the grid of the rest of the ship. But you are even grid isolated to yourselves and the servitors that are in your section that they have made for you.
Just to be thorough, Commander, before we make planetfall, to make certain, be certain that there is no unnecessary feedback or anomalies in the Narai's instrumentation, I would like to do a thorough interviews with each member of your crew.
I think that you can start with interviewing the people in this in your designated section, and then we will move on to the crew if necessary.
again, being in the field, any sort of small, very small deviancy from calendar and oblations can cause Nirai instrumentation to occasionally go wonky in my experience. So I just want to make sure that everything is running smooth.
Would you like to try to attempt to convince her?
Oh, certainly.
All right. You can roll 2d6. It will be opposed. And you can tag any appropriate edges that you would could use in this situation.
Kindness opens all doors, and I've been very polite.
All right.
I don't think my primary signifier works here. And let's see here. What else could I possibly tag? Loyalty to the Hexarchy is the highest virtue, which is one of the constant location traits.
Yes.
So I will roll 46.
All right.
Okay, that is 2 1s, though I have rolled a 6, which means my clock goes up.
Yes, you're rolling a success with a 6 means the clock goes up by 1.
Okie dokie.
Which clock just went up? Is it the party clock?
It's just a
My
player
personal.
clock, personal clock.
But only 2 successes.
All right. Even though I am well assimilated, I have rolled poorly. She strokes her chin and says, I suppose that makes sense in a way.
Yeah, you can be surprised with Rose instrumentation. It can be something that seems quite innocent, but it can play merry havoc on instrumentation. So it's good to just make certain that everybody is doing their utmost to abide.
You know, if I get a background, I could, compensate, probably, maybe.
Oh, most certainly. I would love to have you sit on the interviews to make certain that the instrumentation is perfectly tuned.
Sure. I am absolutely too scared. I am too petrified to possibly argue. It's the closest I've been to a Vedona since, high school.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us, Commander?
No, that was all. But let me talk to Nirai Wenin and get you connected to the rest of the ship.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And she walks off a little confused about what happened in that exchange. Like, not like you entranced her or anything like that, but just, maybe she walked away learning something she didn't know about calendrical equipment adjustment.
I kind of lean over to our Rahal here, and I just say, so why did they cut us off from the grid and everything? Why are we in our own section?
Well, it's it's a thing that sometimes can be a bit to catch up with when it has to happen. But they want to make sure that I expect they want to make sure that if there is any kind of big heresy about that, it's not going to spread. It's a
Okay.
precaution, containment precaution.
Containment. That's
Yeah.
something I
I
understand.
mean,
for
I
sure.
would like to. I'd of course like to know more going in, but it's necessary.
Also,
Okay.
oftentimes it is because somebody aboard the ship is hiding something.
Yes, that.
Okay.
Well, that is that is often the case.
Not to worry. Usually, the guilty parties are within middle management.
Okay.
So I'm fairly certain the commander is absolutely safe, and the captain and the majority of the upper and lower staff. I am much, much more curious as to, well, those that are in charge of communications aboard this vessel.
Okay.
As you talk about in charge of communications, the grid snaps to life in your visual, in your heads-up display on your augment, and you can now see the rest of the ship. There are several key areas of the ship, like the bridge, the mess hall, executive quarters, the lower decks, engineering, and the like. Think any sort of starship in any sort of show or book you have read for critical locations. Now, the thing about a void moth is that sometimes things need to move in certain ways. And because of that, getting around is done by a mechanic called variable layout, where you are sort of teleported to one place to another. You're walking and the hall behind you is blank and the hallway in front of you is blank, but your augment tells you where to go and how to get to where you're going as you are being tunneled around the ship to get to that place. And that's happening almost all the time as people make their rounds to and from everywhere. So no one necessarily has to run into each other unwillingly.
With the HUD, if I may, I want to see aboard this vessel what they have for communal spaces and relaxation.
The biggest communal space is something marked on your augment as the dueling hall.
Lovely.
Other than that, it would be the high table where the majority of Kel and any seconded officers have their group meal. Those are the two places that are known to you as communal spaces.
Excellent. I'm going to, if you gentlemen will excuse me, I'm going to go and put on something a bit more formal and make my presence now felt.
Yeah.
There's a
course.
dueling hall, and I feel it is important that I am seen. I don't want anyone to feel surprised when the interviews start.
Good. Good.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Good.
Excellent. Well, I wish both of you the most pleasant of days, and if I have any findings, as well as when the interviews start, I'll make certain to page.
Okay.
Ah, yeah. Thank you. That's very good of you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you both.
As well.
Yeah.
I can feel the evil behind that smile.
I am so scared every time this guy looks at me. I'm like losing my voice. I'm just like, yeah, cool, good. Have a great day.
Casually gets up, walks out, and like now that he's actually been briefed, there's been more of a pep in his step as he's walking about the corridors and getting back to his room.
You know, I walked in here and I thought, I don't know what I thought.
Hmm.
You ever
Oh.
you ever start asking yourself if you somehow did a heresy and you didn't know?
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, the important thing there is to know yourself. I think that's really that's really what it comes down to. Were you what were you worried about?
I don't even know. That's the
Uh,
thing. I
I
am very
got
careful
it.
with the remembrances.
Ah,
I do it all. Like I'm like
uh,
sweating bullets. I'm just like
uh,
I'd like I do everything, and so I couldn't understand why I might be in trouble. Well,
huh. Well, I think
no,
it's
I
probably.
wouldn't.
Hmm?
She
Hmm?
she wouldn't send me to you guys just for replacing her tea with houseplant clippings. I mean that was I mean we
Oh,
don't do pranks so much, in the near eye. We do experiments, and I wanted to it was an experiment to see if she'd notice, but she was mad.
oh. Well,
Um
what were the? Well, did
she
you? Well, if it was an experiment, then I take it you had a hypothesis that was either proven or disproven on it. Yes,
I well she noticed.
and that
My
was that
I
was it. Yes, that was the yeah.
yeah, my hypothesis was that she wouldn't, but she did for sure.
And
And
mhm.
that's probably, I mean that's probably why I'm on this mission. But
What
she
did
wouldn't
the?
just she wouldn't just send me off to, you know she wouldn't just
Well,
brand me a heretic and send me away. I mean that's
well.
overkill.
I just as to take this to its natural conclusion. If it's what does that? What did the results tell you about possible future work?
Um, well, I put in for a transfer. I don't know when
Oh,
when the management will get to it, but
uh, oh, I see. So you're thinking that because she noticed, that means that you're less likely to be able to work with her well. Is that what you're
I mean,
saying?
it was probably, it was bad judgment on my part. That was really just that was on me. I made a mistake. That was it. It
It's
was,
good to be
we
able to
were.
admit that. Good. It's good. I
Yeah.
I mean, it's the thing where it's I have to wonder. Well, it is important that you find your place, but
Mhm.
I'm very glad you're honest about it.
Mm.
I have to say.
Yes. Oh,
Uh,
yes, of course.
what has been what's been your primary research field up until this point?
Oh, well, I don't do a lot of the research on, on my end. I'm more of
Right?
a
Oh yes.
I'm a technician.
Yes. Oh, very, very good.
I've been, taking voluntarily taking
Hmm.
some of the more mind-numbing jobs recently. It's just a lot of, you gotta put a lot of superstructure on the mods when they get big enough, to when you're prepping them to be activated for the Kel, and well, for everybody, for the Shuos and the, you know I wonder if we're going to have a Shuos with us, because I thought the Shadow Moths were mainly their thing.
For all we know, we do already, eh?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's true.
uh, I just have to. Well, is that when you call them the jobs? What, mind numbing? Is that? So I take it that's not where you really want to, where you find yourself
Oh,
really singing in your
oh.
abilities.
Well, I like working
Or
with the
is?
moths.
Oh, good,
No,
good.
I like working with them. There's, more interesting. You're putting in the harnesses, and you're, really, there's a lot of good crunchy, tech work in there, that
Hmm.
was, as opposed to just kind of walking down the line, rivet, rivet, rivet. I mean, it's even with all the the solvents and the adhesives and everything, there's still just a lot of, just really, you got really good, just got to bolt it on. right onto the carapace.
I can see that this is something you care about quite a bit, and that's good. That's very good.
Yeah, that's we take our our roles very seriously.
I have a recommendation for you, if I may. There's a suggestion.
Sure, yeah.
Is that when you get thrown into these new situations and you find yourself in these situations and you start to worry about your accidental heresies and things of that nature, I would recommend that you go back in your mind to the bolting on, those simple actions, the bolting on to those moths, the things that you do, the rote things you do, working with the moths. Just sort of think about that for a moment. That might help calm the waters, as it were.
It is. You're right. I call it mind numbing, but it is a certain meditativeness about it. Although not the real meditate, not the observance of meditation.
Of course. No, it's very important that we do meditate on the calendar, of course.
But just the I don't know. You zone out and you just kind of think about it, right? Like here's this like ridiculous biotech that lets us just fly everywhere, and and it's such an incredible miracle of hard work and invention.
Good, excellent. And he will kind of make as if to kind of, he'll do the kind of the buddy thing, a little bit of clapping you on the shoulder if you'll permit it. It's very creepy.
I cringe a little bit, but I'm not.
So he tries to do it in a way that doesn't seem creepy, and there's no way this character can do anything in a way that doesn't seem creepy. Thank
you for your advice. I'll definitely do that.
Excellent. And I would say also, as a thing that might help you, and this is an excellent day for it, in fact, the day for it, is if you are concerned, if you have, and again, I think again, it is given how much concern you were talking about these accidental heresies, as you call them, that this is the day to reflect on true heresies. This is the day to reflect on those things where there's ones who we thought were friends and who are not friends, and maybe study those cases a little bit, and that more would show you the kinds of things that you really got to look out for, Look into that.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thanks.
And I'm going to go and check on a few things. Will be all right?
Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm fine.
Excellent. Good. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Turn and glide out of the room.
All right.
I just collapsed back in my chair. Like I am just like my uniform is like soaked through. I am just like that was like took years off my life. I was so scared. Oh my god.
A servitor comes by and sprays you with a desiccant.
No, I'm fine. Thanks. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, it spins around. It is shaped somewhat like a bird, and it spins around and then it leaves the room, hovering and flies away or hovers away.
Man, I didn't even see that one. Shoes.
Can I just say, I don't know if it works like this, but I feel like it probably doesn't work quite like this. But I feel like for like just that my shadow stays in the room for another second or two before leaving with me.
Oh, sure.
And so like it's just sort of
Absolutely.
still sitting there watching you afterwards for a second and then leaves.
ah, 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 ah."
Absolutely.
I walk over to the wall and I just press my forehead against the wall and I just kind of bonk my head a couple of times, like, oh, 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 buddy.
Yes. The grid asks you if you
we're
require
okay.
medical assistance.
No, good. We're good. We're good. I go back to whatever beverage, I don't know, some kind of stimulant, probably some tea.
Yes, probably some
I
tea.
just chug the entire rest of it, like dregs everything.
The Kel have this thing they call coffee. It's a ground roasted bean, and they seem to drink it enthusiastically.
Yeah, that stuff looks like dirt. I don't trust it. I wouldn't say that in earshot of a Kel, though. I mean, obviously, I have some sense of self-preservation.
You don't like roasted bean, but you are all about that hot leaf water.
Yeah.
That hot
Yeah.
leaf juice.
Hot leaf juice. That's good stuff.
Sure. So, Vidona Duncan, you, after traveling through what seems to be an endless hallway forward and behind, you are deposited at the door of the Kel Dueling Hall. The Ash Hawk, the symbol of the Kel, is emblazoned upon the door. Ash Hawk Ascendant, as it is rising from flames like a phoenix, is wrought upon a gray steel door, and the Ash Hawk is there in gold relief. Do you enter?
It is always polite to knock, so I will knock first, announcing that there is someone here.
The door keeps the grid, and having been around Kel for quite some time, doesn't answer you, but does in fact just open the door to the dueling hall. Think of a space age high school gym with lights and spectator booths and a large floor with people in separate dueling circles doing either various modes of practice, or maybe they are having a small scuffle with an honor duel here and there. There are several circles around this floor. It's like almost like a high school wrestling tournament where there are just circles everywhere.
Delightful. I am, again, not necessarily in my best outfit, like my fourth best outfit. But I do have, just in case someone feels adventurous, I do have a bag with me that has a change of clothes and my gi. And I am just going to quietly, but not necessarily trying to bring my presence down, like standing absolutely stock straight, just make my way long gliding strides up to the bleachers, and sit perfectly in the middle of the bleachers. If there is room, sit down and just look at everyone and make sure that I am also seen.
Sure. What unfolds in front of you is after about maybe 5 minutes of watching, what unfolds in front of you are a group of Kel. They are all wearing black and gold in some formation. The Kel happen to have microfiber suits that actually can change when called upon to assume certain formalities for a certain situation, like dress formal, things like that. And there are Kel marching in to Kel, and one is furious. The other one is just, kind of shrunken in a bit, but trying to stay calm as as the rest of the Kel are in full formal, dragging them to a circle.
I watch with rapturous intent, wanting to see what happens next.
It's like, you don't make it that in the one Kel, a tall, broad man with large block shoulders and a very short haircut, says, "You don't make accusations like that if you can't fucking back them up. Now draw." And the other Kel says, look, I saw what I saw, and I don't think we should be dueling at all. If you saw it, then back it the fuck up. With your hands on a sword. Now. I'm not having my Kel honor impugned by you. The whispers that you're catching are the word hawkfucker. What you know is that Kel are imbued with formation instinct, which allows Kel to adhere to the commands given to them by superior officers. But because of this, it is potentially abusable.
Now, I have a question. In a duel of honor amongst Kel, can they choose a champion?
They could. They certainly could. It's not, I mean, it really depends on the Kel, but they certainly could choose a champion in such a duel. The other Kel, you can actually bring up a profile on. Kel Meng is not that great of a duelist, the one who has made the accusation. Now,
Delightful.
And to be clear, nobody is saying that anyone has done anything untoward to anybody necessarily, but because of that unsurety of rank abuse, even consensual relationships among Kel are deemed heretical and punishable by death. So even the implication of somebody being a hawk fucker is enough to get anyone's blood up on either side of the altercation.
Excellent. Do we have with this networking sort of like instant messenger or Discord or something?
Yeah, you can send a little DM. Boop.
Yeah, I would like to send a DM to the less martially inclined Kel. Salutations. I see that you are in a bit of a pickle. Smiley face emoji. If you take a look to your left, you will see me. If you would like, I will happily be your champion.
You just get back one word, yup. He's like, and Kel Meng kind of straightens up and says, yeah, I'm so serious about it, I'm gonna have the Vidona investigate you right now, as he points to you.
Oh, I don't like just standing up very casually, walking to the center of this room, loud projection, like stage voice. I don't think an investigation is in order. This is an honor duel. And by all means, as the challenged, good sir, you get to choose your champion, and I believe the terms of the weaponry, I must admit, my sword play is a bit rusty, but I'm always up for a good unarmed scrap.
Yeah, no sense in wasting a good cylindrical sword on you or your bullshit.
I see. Well, apologies, I shouldn't be rude. Vidona Duncan, and you, good sir, speaking to the one who has insulted me.
Kel Blaine.
Kel Blaine, it is a pleasure to meet you. Shall we?
Sure, let's go. He is rank 1, much like you, but he doesn't seem to know much about fighting barehanded with a Vidona. He's like, Kel will see me through this. So interesting thing about the Kel and the Vidona, they both get bonuses for slapping the shit out of people.
Yes, but mine's not so much on the attack side. It's more the result of said attack. They hurt more when I do it. And so in this conflict of martial arms, the lesser must submit to the greater will. 1. loyalty to the Hexarchate is the highest virtue, and I think he has violated that.
Yep.
2. Then, personally, kindness opens all doors. I have been exceptionally polite, and will continue to be. And then I would like to tag my signifier, living in a world made of cardboard.
Okay. This this NPC will tag his location trait, which is because he's on Kel's ship, Kel Honor comes first.
Mhm.
He will also tag his signifier, which is I'm always ready for a brawl, which is Ash Hawk with club in claws.
Okay. Four successes. And I rolled a 6 with that, so the clock goes up to 3. I might be doing that speed run.
Dang.
Speed run to heresy. All right. Yeah. He just comes in just under you with 5. So you get to roll damage. You know his one edge, which is his signifier. Yeah. So you can roll your damage, which is plus 2d6, plus the normal damage of your hands, which is 1d6.
And then I add 2 to that afterwards.
Yes.
So is it rolling successes or just
rolling successes? So you would
rolling for success? Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, that'll be 2 successes, no 6s, plus 2, so 4 damage to his primary signifier.
Okay.
You can yield at any time.
Just imagining you pick this guy up by the throat or something. Like,
No. Again, like dunking, like quickly, like before all of this, we'll go change, come out in his gi, bows, and as things go on, it's just as the guy lunges in. Again, I am assuming this man is smaller than me.
He is smaller than you, yes.
Yeah.
Broad-shouldered, but smaller.
As he comes in, I grab the collar of whatever he's wearing. And then with the back of my hand, I strike him right in the temple. And then I release and let go.
There is something feral about him now. He is looking at you, and the thought of actually losing this duel means that he could be tried as a hawk fucker and put to death.
There is no harm in acquiescing to a superior. In this case.
Fine, whatever. You'll see I'm right. As he acquiesces. As you are walking down, as you are looking down at your opponent as he kneels to the ground, there is a silence in the room as the doctrine officer walks in. This is the doctrine officer, Rahal Lohan. A very serious looking man, maybe in his mid-40s, early 50s. The average lifespan of the person in the Hexarchate runs to about 150. And people are typically using technology to keep themselves looking younger than they really are all the time. But he has allowed some graying in his temples, as he has tan skin, graying temples, and a slicked back ponytail with a very long and curled mustache. Hmm. Rumors travel fast on this ship.
I hope it's just rumor.
Well, one can hope.
Yes, and hope is important. What keeps one motivated?
Doctrine is rather overtaxed. But I have heard very recently we have you and another raw haul on this ship.
Oh,
The
yes.
calendar provides.
Indeed, it does.
You'll take this one, and you'll see if he needs processing.
Oh, certainly.
Might as well get it done straight away.
I respect efficiency.
Very good. Very good. Well, what are all you Kel gawking for? Go on. And you can watch as the formation instinct takes over and the Kel all sort of almost glass eye over says, of course, sir. Because this Rahal, though not a Kel, he is seconded to the Kel and he is of a higher rank as part of the bridge crew than most of these rank and file Kel.
I will take our rumored offender to whatever room aboard this vessel is used for central processing. I'm certain there is an office for interrogation.
Oh, what office isn't for interrogation is really what we have to ask.
Again, everything has its appointed time and place. It would be rude of me to try and conduct an interrogation in a place that was not put aside purposely for that. We are not barbarians.
Well, if you're looking for a proper interrogation room, there is one that has been provided in the lower decks of the ship.
Oh, fantastic. I could use a good walk.
You can receive a ping on your augment, Rahul Graydon, that you are required for assistance in processing, in determining a processing.
Oh, excellent. going to go right there. Because mostly I've just been observing people. That's all I've been doing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I pinged my augment a while ago and went and found where all the engineers eat. You know, rank and file mess hall. Any moth is going to have its complement of Nirai techies. So
Yeah,
I go join my people.
Yep, they are all sitting around. Some of them are flying little drones around the ship and trying to chase the servitors. Some of them are drawing on a board. There are a few here that are talking about going down to the firing range.
Okay, yeah, I'm just chilling. Just chilling, jumping into an argument if I feel my expertise is needed. Otherwise, just hanging out.
Yeah, they one of them oh man, such a long day. And you notice he reaches in the drawer and he looks around back and forth. Then he opens the drawer and pulls out a very small canister surreptitiously You know, kind of like a kid eating candy in class when he definitely shouldn't be. It's kind of look he has on him as he pops open the tab and pulls out a kind of like a white ovoid looking pill and pops it into his mouth. And he looks back around and puts it back into the drawer.
Well, other people's medication schedules are not my business. I continue chilling.
The Narai sitting here kind of blisses out. They fall, they kind of lean back in their chair and their eyes kind of start to flutter a bit. Almost like they're in the throes of REM sleep.
Yeah, weird. I just, no one else is reacting or anything, so I just kind of.
It's hard for people to react because everybody's kind of absorbed by their own thing. Got a bunch of nerds in the room. It's like,
yeah,
they're all just kind of like, oh, I'm doing my thing and I'm doing my thing. So nobody's really watching him. It's just that you're on edge right now because you've been in a room with a Vidona and a Rahal.
Yeah, that was terrifying. that was scary as hell, and I like to the point where I don't even feel I can talk about it. Like I might be inviting more terror upon myself. Like I'm apparently going on a mission with these guys. How the hell am I going to live? So I've got a beverage. I'm just kind of maybe I'll just move over and kind of sit near the sleeping one. Just kind of keep an eye on them. I mean, obviously, like medical would get a ping from their augment if they were in like serious trouble or anything, but it's quieter over here.
This particular individual is not coming up on your augment.
So I tap him on the shoulder, really just gently.
Oh, Narai, Tace.
Hey,
yes,
hi.
Narai Tace.
Yeah.
How are you?
Sorry, I'm not part of the ship complement. I'm a passenger right now. No, sorry. I just wanted to make sure you were okay because you kind of nodded off there, and then I thought there might be something a little wrong with your augment because I couldn't. I was trying to ping you more quietly, but
nothing's wrong with my augment as they kind of rub their temples and then like their augment turns back on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to intrude or whatever. I'm sure you had a long day. You're tired.
Yeah. So no, it's all right. Did you need something? Anything?
No. I just wanted to come sit among my people. I had a bit of a
yeah.
hair-raising chat with some other faction representatives. That.
Oh, I mean that must have been lovely, right? Oh, tell me it was an Ondan courtesan.
I wish. No, no, I don't think I can. Sorry, I've already said too much. I can't really talk. I can't talk about it. Sorry, I'm gonna go.
Could you tell me it was a courtesan? So I mean.
Yeah. Okay. I had a great time. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm gonna just I walk over to like the whiteboard and I jump right in. I just stab my finger at one of the like notations on the whiteboard. I'm like, this coefficient feels off to me. And I just jump straight the hell into an argument about somebody's calculations.
These gate calculations are absolutely perfect. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I just mean like, okay, so what size moth are you talking about here? Because like the distortion is going to be there's edges, right?
No, this won't. The size of the moth won't affect the formant wave on the gate linearity. This is ridiculous. What are you talking about?
Oh well, I just yeah, sorry.
The right taste. I hate to interrupt whatever it is that you're doing, but myself and our our mutual acquaintance, don't think we're friends yet. I hope we are going to be taking part in an interrogation. I would like you to bring the instruments that we will be using as part of our investigation to the interrogation room marked here on your HUD. Just want to make sure that we start this process as soon as possible. And I got just a wonderful opportunity just fell in my lap.
Okay, I'll be there in just a second. I mean, most of my instrumentation is moth based. It's not really that portable, but I can tie into it. I'll tie into it. It's good.
But tie in, or by all means, use any one of the servitors aboard to help you move these things. This is all in purpose with the calendar, and as we are servants of the calendar, all must serve.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see what I can do. I'll be there in a couple.
I
a couple
also
minutes.
suggest before you come down, you should probably go to medical. You seem a bit on edge. I think having something that would help with the nerves will definitely aid in this process.
Thank you for the recommendation. I'll look into it. I'll be there in a minute.
All health is important.
Yes. I kind of click that off. I'm like, I'm sorry. I have to go. I just.
And he's just
fail.
like, the guy's like, oh, damn, that was fun, man.
yeah. Sorry. Next time. I just book it out of there. I'm not sure what, I guess there's got to be I've got a portable briefcase or something for portable measurements, but it would be mostly tying back into the Moth Zone systems. So I'd kind of grab the briefcase out of my room, I suppose, and bring it down. But even as I'm walking, I already have it kind of open on my arm, and I'm just kind of tying it into the grid and everything, and kind of pulling out little antenna, let's say, and just kind of getting all ready. Like, I'm a professional. This is what I know.
All right. The three of you can converge on a single room that has been afforded to you in the Moth War interrogation.
So yeah, I wander in, and I just kind of go straight to the corner and make myself as small as possible, and just kind of set my stuff down.
It is so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for bringing everything. By all means, you don't need to be in such a dark corner. Come here.
Okay.
You should have better lighting in order to read all the instrumentation.
Well, it's lights. It lights up.
The wolf lopes out of the corner and nods, agreeing.
Again, everything's on dimmer, so if things are too harsh, please just let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
By all means. I turning to the Kel, I hope you're all right. I know having a number of individuals in the room can be disconcerting to some, but I assure you it's absolutely necessary to get to the veracity of what you've been accused
of. So I'd like to imagine that I am in the room, but possibly my shadow preceded me by a few seconds, and that I am now seated somewhere behind where the Kel can see me. But the wolf is sitting kind of has now sat down across the room, just in a position where the Kel can see it. It's just sort of sitting there.
Love it.
Just casually watching.
Yes. As you sit down, last thing before we go to break, I think you see Narai Tace, a small familiar cap, the edges of the top edge of a cap sticking out of the uniform pocket of this Kel.
Hey, do you want me to, I don't know, hold anything for you?
But
No. Okay.
no.
Okay. No. No. That's fine. No. Never mind.
Please, the right taste. Share with the class what it is that you were inferring to.
Oh no. I just meant like I've heard that the scrying can kind of knock you out, and I thought if he's gonna fall over or something, you might want to just empty his pockets. I'm sorry. I haven't really been part of a lot of these. I mean, we all get the basic training, so I can run the instruments and everything, but I just
Your concern for safety is valid. Actually, yes. Please, good sir, empty your pockets.
He is a little hesitant to do that, honestly, but he just kind of like puts all his things in a heap on the table. You know, it's kind of like the way a person would do at the airport, just kind of lump. You know, and then like, you know, a knife, a gun, another knife.
Keller prepared.
Absolutely allowable. Absolutely allowable.
Yeah, bolo, some bolos.
Yes, by all means.
Yeah, a burrower, which is a small one-time use bug to burrow into the side of other things.
Okay, a bit heavier grade and kind of concerning on that. Still within
A Kel ration bar. They are notorious for tasting bad, but they have all the day's nutrients in them.
Emergency rations are always important. Yes.
And some small little cap, little tube. He just kind of like, nonchalantly puts that down.
I'm going to, using the tech, scan this. I want to cross-reference it with the allowable items within the quartermaster shop.
It's surprisingly a lot, but you're not getting this little cap thing.
Okay.
You're not getting this little like tube. It's like I guess it would be like almost like a Mentos, like bottle. Like it's about that size, like like a tube of Mentos.
I'm sorry. I am not familiar with this. What is this?
What? Just some gum.
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 I understand sweets and some things that are meant to distract children chew. When I was a teacher, found it absolutely vile. Only had to reprimand a student once. Again, mercy is grace. Grace is upheld by the calendar. The right taste. Are you familiar with this gum?
I think it must be a local fad or something. I saw someone else.
Someone else aboard has this gum as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are allowed their personal effects. I mean, it's just gum. I don't know. Some people need to fidget. Some people need to chew something just to maintain concentration.
I understand. Again, not all of us have, doctrine fully ingrained or just parts of one's person, as the Kel often do. It's one of their most admirable traits. But any and all contraband is anathema to the calendar. I am not surprised now that we were held in suspension of the grid if this contraband is pervasive amongst the crew. I mean, the anomaly that we could be facing could just easily be caused by this.
I don't think it's that big a deal. I don't know. I just kind of shrink.
One would think that, but so often, as is most things in life, it's the small things that, when they build up, can cause great calamity.
Okay, that's something to take to heart. Is that why you brought this guy in here?
Oh no, he was accused quite voraciously as a hawk fucker.
Oh, oh, yikes! Ugh.
Hmm.
But as is often the case, the accusations oftentimes aren't always accurate in the veracity of the accused, but can lead one in the course of interrogation to find other crimes.
Sounds like a plan.
Indeed, it is.
I'll
Right.
just I'm in here just instruments.
And on the eve of this interrogation, would we like to go to break, Jim?
Yeah, sure. No, that'd be great.
All right.
Let's do it.
I was tempted to pipe up and say, "Did you bring enough for everyone?" But I'm going to.
That would have been a very teacher response.
It would have been, but we can. Let's see. That's yeah. It's just interesting to see where that went. All right, we're gonna go to break real quick. I have an interview queued up. And so we'll have that playing, and then we will return and see how our interrogation goes. All right, folks, we'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Welcome to the break. I am here with Doc Rimbo, and we are going to talk about a couple of tabletop RPGs, but in particular keyed off of the game The Spire. Tell us about this.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you asked me to pick one, so of course I picked two.
Yeah.
But these two games, one is called Spire: The City Must Fall, and one is called Heart: The City Beneath. And they are, as kind of implied by the names, they're this two sides of the same coin. These are games from Rowan Rook and Deckard, specifically from Grant Howitt and a few other folks. Grant Howitt is my favorite TTRPG writer. Who's responsible for all those like 1-2 sheet games. He made Honey Heist, all this other stuff, and is just his writing voice is super fun and engaging to me. And so these two games they exist within the same universe, the same world. They use a system called the Resistance system that he's made, and it's kind of like every challenge, every delve, every attempt, it has a set resistance, and you chip away at that resistance until it's achieved. So each action you do takes something away from it. And I like that as kind of like, when will you reach your goal type of stuff. So Spire is the name of the city. It's called Spire. It's the city that is this mile-tall city that's an actual, spire, and all of these people live there. And the whole theme in Spire is that striation and sort of class warfare. And so you have 4 races, basically, who live there. You have the Aelfir, the elves, who are the high elves, and they are the ones who, I think, they describe them as they glide everywhere they go, and they always wear a mask, and they're all, you know what I mean? So you can't see what they're feeling, and they are like at the seat of power. And then you have the drow, and it's not the same necessarily drow as you're used to in typical, D&D lore or things like that. They are of like a darker flesh tone, and they have been kind of in servitude to the Aelfir their whole lives. And so they are the lower classes. They're the lowest. And you always inspire play as a drow. And you also have gnolls, and gnolls are kind of like, in this game, these desert-dwelling, technocratic, crazy inventor types. And then you have humans, and who come from outside the city. And Spire, the key conceit, the key goal is that you are trying to not unseat power, because that would be impossible. As we know, as people who live in societies, maybe we don't agree with everything. You can't change everything, but you can subvert it, and you can chip away at it little by little by little. And so maybe you have an Aelfir that you have a contact with, and they know of another one who's running for a council seat, and you get a chance to ruin their campaign. And that's like the whole mission is like it's very like revolutionary, rising up against power sort of stuff. That's
Yeah.
Spire. And Heart is different. So
Yeah.
Heart, in a lot of ways, is a dungeon delve type of game. It has that sort of horror vibe that you'd find in the video games like Darkest Dungeon or Darkest Dungeon 2, where it's kind of like things are gruesome, but also weird, but also a little bit wondrous and beautiful. And that's the whole sort of aesthetic vibe of them. But the idea being that beneath Spire and beneath the city of Derelictus, which sits in between, it's this like city at the bottom, there is a descent into a place called the Heart. Now, what is the Heart? And in the text, it says, well, some people think it's the eye of a storm. Some people think it's a giant dragon. Some people think it's an actual physical heart. Some people think it's an idea. But there's one thing that's sure is that the heart knows what you want, and it's going to give it to you, God damn it. And it's like, and it's like, it's supposed to be like foreboding, but also addictive. Like you have to get down there and find it. And so it has this sort of hex crawl system where you start somewhere and you do a delve. So you go from one location to another.
Yeah.
And along the way, you chip off the progress to this next place. And similar to Spire, you might never get to the heart itself. If you get to the heart, you don't even know if you want to be there because it'll change you. It'll mutate you. It'll change your body. It will change all these other things. But you keep going back and back and you delve again and again. And so it's kind of like this above below thing between the two systems. I've got a lot of other stuff I could say. One of my favorite things about classes in the system, if you want me to talk about the system classes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, talk about the system a little bit.
Okay, great. I have to look up the Spire classes, but the Heart ones are fresh in my mind because one of the things that Rowan Rook Deckard, that Grant, how it does so well, like I said earlier, Subversion, they take these classes that are familiar to us, but they come up with something completely new. So it still has these like tones of familiarity, but it's bizarre and different. So in Heart, you can play something like the Vermissian Knight. The Vermissian is a mass transit system that they tried to build 200 years ago, powered by the magic in the Heart. But the Heart corrupted it. And so now the Vermissian Knights are these knights who serve to protect this defunct subway system. Okay?
Nice.
And there's these tubes going everywhere, but you don't go in them because they're terrifying. But the knights serve to protect it. You could play a class called, one of my favorites is the Deep Apiarist. And the Deep Apiarist is a person who is made of bees.
Of course.
Of course, right? There's witches, but the witches in Heart are witches because they have a curse in their blood. And so they can manipulate blood and use it to perform magic. And so it's like all these things that's like, oh, I know what a knight is, but a knight that protects a subway system.
Yeah.
Or there's Incarnadine, which are clerics or paladins to the god of wealth, and they serve them because they're in debt. And like,
oh god,
like the ideas, like every time I open up that book, I'm inspired every time. It's part of the reason I love it so much. That's Heart, the City Beneath.
Yeah. What is the? Can you talk a little bit about what the base system is for?
Sure. It's primarily a D12 system, and basically at the beginning of every, let's say, delve or mission or whatever, I say, okay, this has a resistance of 10 or something like that, and I'll tell everyone what it is. And then everyone's going to tell me what their beats are for their characters. And that's how you level up, is you complete beats. And it could be something like, I find a book. Or it could be something like, I bring this person to justice who betrayed me. That's a major beat. And they tell me what those things are so I can sort of work them into the delve or the campaign. And then every time they accomplish something, whether it's getting from one location to another, getting past some weird plant monster, whatever, you roll a die that is connected to the level of the heart that you're on. So the higher it is, the lower it is. In the bottom of the heart, it's like a D10 or something like that, or D8. And you roll that and you subtract it from the resistance of the delve. And so you get closer and closer.
Mm.
And the timing of it is fascinating because instead of we're there when we get there, it's we're there when we accomplish enough to be there, because the heart's always changing. The past of the heart are never the same. And so it's basically D12. You roll a D12. If you have a skill around the domain, you add a D12. If you have a skill like around your class, you add another. And basically, you are trying to roll within a certain window. It is I want to say it's high rolling. I don't even remember if it's high or low rolling, but you're trying to like hit a target. And the more dice you have, the better your odds are. That's basic. That's the basic gist of the system.
Cool. Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, I was just looking at the site at Rowan Rookendeckard's site with just the information, and they've got so many images that are just incredibly cool. I've loved a lot of the aesthetics around this game. I've never actually played either Spire or Heart myself, but I've seen Heart played. I saw you run it.
Oh, good, yeah.
And I also there's one of the folks doing free audio sites. Actually, the Tabletop Audio folks did a whole like thing dedicated to the Spire.
And when we played that, cool. They've done it for Heart too. And when we played that system, that game, it was already in Roll20 as a part of the module.
Yeah.
So it's like this kind of location here is the perfect soundscape for it. And it was like, oh, I just had to drop it and play it, and it was perfect.
Yeah. It's so cool to have something like that out there. But alas, we can only talk about these things for so long. But if folks want to find you, just in general online, where should they go?
I'm on most socials as Doc Rimbo, sometimes as Doc Rimbo Rolls. I also have a Twitch channel, Doc Rimbo, where I play role-playing streams. And then on those sites, you'll find schedules, notices of where I'll be next.
Excellent. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
And take care, folks. We will see you soon. Greetings, we have returned. I see that the backgrounds have kicked in. They were not functional before, so I'm going to fix that momentarily. We'll start with this, and then we'll move to other things. But as we have returned now, then what are we doing? How are we doing?
You, before we broke off, the two, you are all in an interrogation room. It feels very cozy, very intimate. Good for interrogations. You have, by way of a scuffle in a Kel dueling hall, and Duncan, becoming a honor champion for one of these Kel, has you have found your way to needing to interrogate one of the Kel on this ship because they have been accused of a grave crime, having a relationship with another Kel. Kel are imported with this thing called formation instinct, and that causes them to acquiesce to the demands of their superiors. And while this is not saying anyone has necessarily done anything directly untoward, even the act of being with another Kel is seen as condemnable and killable if true.
Excellent.
With that, Doctrine has tasked the two of you, the Vidona and the Vidona, Duncan, and Rahal Graydon, to ascertain the truth. And Vidona Duncan has said, I need an Narai here to make sure the instruments are working correctly.
Just keeping an eye on obscure fluctuations in the local calendar. It's like watching a sine wave, basically, in my corner.
This Kel has been absolutely quiet for the most part since they lost this honor duel, and have walked with you to the room after pulling out a naked gun worth of weapons and putting them on a table. They also reveal to have a small tube of what they are calling chewing gum. Whether this is contraband or not has yet to be seen. And that's where we are.
Again, even the smallest of things, they might seem trivial, can add up to cascading effects, which can cause anomalies within technology and the calendar. And so they must be policed with great verve. But again, we are not necessarily absolutely certain that this is contraband. Nothing punishable has been found yet. There is no reason for anyone to feel an abundance of distress. We are just here to find the truth, and the truth will set us all free.
I'm here to help.
I'm so glad to hear that.
What may I ask what kind of equipment it is that Tace has?
I just have like a briefcase. It's like a mobile command center kind of thing, but it's just like scientific instruments. It's like this briefcase with like a screen. Stuff is probably also being piped directly to my augment. But I've got like some little kind of like weird shaped antennas coming out and stuff. Just monitoring.
I'm envisioning the Gigantor briefcase where it summons Gigantor when you open it up and it has little joysticks inside. But that's
I don't think there's any joysticks, but just just kind of like I can interface with it, but there's also like manual interface, lots of backups and stuff. So I'm just minutely monitoring local space-time fluctuations.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. All right. So I think that something I'm going to do at this point is is the wolf is going to step around away from along the wall, away from our subject's line of vision. This is this Kel Blaine? This is
Yes, this is Kel Blaine.
okay. Actually, do I get his name and stuff on my HUD or whatever?
Yeah. You get a service record. He is Kel Infantry. Some would say, some would call him derisively Garden Kel. You've heard that term being thrown around because they are world side Kel. They go down on the ground.
Okay. So I think there's a moment just so the shadow goes out of his field of vision, and there's a pause for just a couple of seconds, and then a hand comes down on his shoulder for just a moment, not threateningly, but just kind of is going to sit there for just a moment. And I'm going to ask Blaine, is it?
Yes, Kel Blaine.
Yeah. Gum. Haven't seen Gum in a very long time. Yeah. Let's talk about the gum for just a moment. A little bit more about it. Where do you get that? Looks kind of enticing.
It is gum, sir.
Oh, no. No, not particularly fond of it then?
It is gum.
So, it's one of those things then, I suppose. It's like certain foods, I suppose, that people really just sort of almost universally seem to enjoy. Is it one of those situations? Any gum is good gum? Is that kind of what we're looking at?
It is gum, sir. Would you like some gum?
Oh, did you bring enough for everyone?
I will share my gum if that is what you want, sir.
Maybe later. I'm just going to take my hand off his shoulder and come around into his sight, and just kind of just smiling. Yeah, it's tall guy. He might have. I haven't figured out whether he has the goatee currently. He probably does. But he just kind of will square his shoulders, and is sort of smiling, just sort of looking at this individual. He says, I wonder if we could talk a little bit about this, one of these more joyous days when we have our remembrances. Did you have any particular ones that you meditated on today?
I thought of my family, sir.
Oh. So, as this is remembrance of stillborn friendships, the day for that is that I should. Does this indicate there's something we should be that man, what is the word I'm looking for? Gah. Um,
Estranged.
yeah. Yeah. I have. These are estranged. I take it then.
They were heretics, sir.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's long and short of it.
Oh. And about how old does this individual look?
This individual, Kel Blaine, seems to be roughly in his early 30s, but he probably, according to his file, he graduated from Kell Academy about 3 years ago.
Okay. Interesting. Oh. May I ask, how long ago did you find out?
I cannot guess, but I heard of their extermination, sir.
Oh, you didn't find out until afterwards, then, I would assume. About how long ago was that?
A year ago, sir.
Oh. Do I know of the Kel having any issues about people feeling showing them sympathy, that kind of thing? Do they not like that?
The Kel, by and large, do not like to be pitied about anything. Sure. They might accept pity on a one-to-one level if you were like friends or anything like that, but not in this interaction that we're having.
No, of course. Yes. So what I will say then is I will give a very businesslike my condolences.
None needed, sir. They were heretics.
Of course. But I imagine that this kind of thing can't this sort of thing, especially when it happens to one's family. It's not the kind of thing that just has no effect on one whatsoever. How have you been?
I am Kel. I will serve.
Of course. Absolutely. But I think it's not unusual, and I'm slowly taking off the gloves. Not unusual for
they are so they are so rattled, like they are trying not to be by the gloves coming off. Yeah. So quick side note, Kel all wear black gloves with their uniforms, and they always wear them, kind of always and the unsheathing of hands can be seen can be uncomfortable for some Kel, especially if you're on a ship with them.
Yeah. And let's see, what was I saying? Ah, crap. Oh, right, yeah. I understand. It's understandable that when one is dealing with stresses, perhaps even ones that they don't fully think about themselves, that they can turn to these little comforts, sparring matches, gum, things of that nature. But they're just things that, he tucks them in his belt, they're just things that we need to make sure they don't get in there and burrow or fester. You understand, Kel Blaine? You take my meaning?
I am Kel.
Excellent. Let's have a look at that. I'm going to take him by the wrists and burrow into his mind.
There is a moment on his face before, right as you burrow into his mind with the powers of the Scry Wolf, that there was a horror on his face, and we'll be making an opposed roll against Kel Blaine here.
Okay.
He will tag his location modifier. Kel Honor is above all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all he has for this roll.
Okay. So I have a few things going on. As I'm trying to remember this, we get one die for showing up, right? We have one die base, right? Or do
Yep.
we? Yeah. Okay.
You're showing
And
up.
I get plus 2d6 when investigating someone's edge. So that takes place here. Okay. My edges. I have so many things here. So my signifier, people are not tools, they are instruments. I am trying to get him to play properly. I don't know if that applies here or not.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He should play properly. He is Kel. He should serve.
Exactly. Precisely. I'm going to trying to tune him properly. If there is chaos in his mind at this, or if there is, if he is disturbed at anything, like someone creepily taking gloves off in front of him, I assume his mind may have something of a cacophony in it that I need to make quiet. So if I may, I would also tag the cacophony ends.
Yes.
And then I guess the question is, is there tagging of the heresy? Is that a thing
There is not tagging of your heresy per
Excellent.
se, but
Okay.
it can come up.
I am trying to get at the truth. The system works best when the truth is applied. I don't know if anything's going to get involved here, because dissembling is something I am not fond of. So this is when he keeps just flippantly saying it's gum. I need to make sure that's really all it is. So I have 5 dice. Shall I go ahead?
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to roll my 3 dice.
Okay, I'm looking for ones right now. I haven't advanced at all, but we'll see how things go. Okay, I have 1-1.
Well, I mean that's better than my no ones.
Yeah.
So, or my no successes rather.
Yeah, I have 1-1. So I have 1 success. I have no 6s.
All right. So you succeed. So you penetrate into his mind. The wolf has gone to hunt and stalk about the forest of this Kel. You are first greeted by the Kel signifier, the ash hawk. The ash hawk encircled by or holding club, representing their willingness to fight and to brawl. There are cracks along the edges of their signifier, and you have been well trained in sussing things out. You may have even excelled in your faction ability when you were in Rahal Academy. But you can see these fine spider-line cracks that are not held up by gum, but are being created by gum. The gum is almost acidic and maybe even somewhat alive, but it looks very much like gum, as it, in that sort of already been chewed, gray, tacky way, as it is sitting in the small spider cracks of their signifier and slowly just eating like a caterpillar or a slug, worming and eroding away. As you delve deeper, you find that there are not many people sitting around a fire with the actual fire in the shape of their signifier. talking, laughing, but it's a very enclosed space, a place a fire really shouldn't or wouldn't be. But they're there, and even in inhaling the smoke and gesturing and talking to each other, they continue on.
I would like to see if I can just part of what I'm doing is trying to sit quietly and see if I can hear what they're saying.
Some of them are talking about what they would do if they had a chance, or what they would do if they had the time, kind of like, bucket list stuff. Like, oh, if I could go to, X place, I would definitely, see this show, and those are pretty innocuous conversations, but every once in a while there's something just a little off. Like, well, I would definitely, skip this remembrance. But it's said so blasé, so casually that it almost doesn't register. It only registers to you because this is your job, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's understandable that they might want to skip this remembrance because of how recent the situation is with them. But so we're going to compare sort of to the cracks that we've seen, and sort of triangulate with those individuals who said that, and just sort of see where the positioning is and see if there's a direction from there that might be.
Well, it looks like every time the people talk and they say something that was off to you, their mouths are gummy. Like their mouths, like they open and close their mouths, but the gum is stuck to the roof and the bottom of their mouth as they're talking. But only during the strange parts of the conversation, maybe to you ungood parts of a conversation.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's heretical gum, even possibly. Just that it's somehow it's interesting because it's like, is the gum a tool they are using, or are they being used by the gum? Is what
so hard to say. They're so intertwined, so stuck.
Yes. So the question becomes, I kind of want to see if there's a way to look back and figure out where the gum comes from. If there's a way to find a direction on that. Maybe, is it possible to, when they speak and they say these things, the gum just sort of appears there, right?
It's like, like they were talking normally, and the gum doesn't inhibit their speech. It just is in their mouth while they're saying these things that you might find a tad bit heretical.
Yeah. And I kind of almost, is it a thing to like, is it possible to sort of observe, maybe rewind them a bit and see what they were doing before and what may have happened to cause this condition?
You are trying to look for that, and the images you get are the passing of people in crowds, like, people who meet in crowds. You can't get faces, but it's almost like people looked away when this was happening. But it's just like a crowd meets on a street, and maybe 4 or 5 people pass, and they politely brush hands, and then they brush hands. And that's the image you get when you're trying to find anything about where the gum comes from.
Interesting. Okay. So I don't get faces. Do I get a place? Is it, you said it was a street? Is that does it look to me as though the street is metaphorical and constructed, or does it look as though the street might be a place?
It's a metaphorical street. Matter of fact,
Gotcha.
It's a street because most familiar to this Kel are streets. He is not a this Kel is not a void moth Kel. All particularly he's a garden Kel. He's used to being on the ground and among and plant side. He's plant side probably a lot more than other Kel here. Because the other Kel fight from the void moth. Maybe they take their leave on plant side somewhere when they're docked, but this Kel might even been, and according to his profile, was born plant side. So
Okay. So then I think if possible, let me know when I need to be wrapping this up. But my thought then is to find a way to kind of I need to find a way to enter the conversation that had been going on, and figure out. Go ahead.
Sorry, when you try to enter a conversation, you are asked, "Would you like some gum?"
Oh, interesting.
Because these conversations are clearly for gum people.
Clearly for gum people, yes. Yes. So what I'm gonna try and do, is this is difficult. This is difficult. Because all right. So my response is going to be, that sounds interesting. Where does it come from?
Well, I got the gum from.
It's tricky. It's tricky to take the gum or not to take the gum. Because one wishes to know, but one does not wish to be. You just went and asked for it?
Yeah.
Huh. How'd you know to ask for it? I didn't. Yeah.
No, he doesn't remember how to know to ask for it. It's a thing where it's like it's a question, right? How much does one want to open oneself up to such things? I think that
Do it.
I'm going to. I'm hearing someone telling me to do it.
You know who the angel and devil here are.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I think coming down to my character's perspective, I don't think he's ready for the gum. But he knows that the gum is a problem that is indicative of a bigger problem. We've confirmed that much. And so, yeah, maybe entering the conversation is not is not the right thing for Graydon. Maybe what Graydon is then, upon trying to enter the conversation, sees that this is taken root and is being used as kind of a block. So he needs to try to come at this from the side. He needs to find the source of the web. So I think the most honest way he can try to do this is, all right, I'm gonna hang on. I just need to check our lines and veils real quick. Okay, I think, let me know if I need to not do this, but I need to find the web, and instead of directly taking the gum, we are going from wolf to wolf spider. And trying to track the web to its source that way. Is that doable?
Sure. As you go, little wolf spider, as you track along, you see all these people changing hands, moving, trading, passing. And there is one kind of thread you hear on there's like one conversation thread that you can feel in the vibrations of your web. Just choose, 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 choose. You think they're saying chew, but it's for a minute, but it's choose.
Okay.
And as you are scrying, the web starts to become heavy in some places as your web starts to turn to gum, trying to hedge you out.
Well then. I am... Yeah. I'm going to have to try to move nimbly here. If this, yeah, it's trying to overtake. So, and it's apparently a choice as to be made as to whether one wants to be inside the web or outside of it. In order, according to the way it's patterned in his head right now.
Right.
And so the thing is, this is a level of security that I was not expecting. So clearly there's do I imagine that someone would have to have done this deliberately in order for me to be having this much trouble finding this?
Yeah, this is certainly an exotic effect that is somehow in line with the calendar, but potentially heretical.
Yeah.
Because your scry wolf powers are also an exotic effect, so they are colliding currently.
Okay, I'm going to try one more thing, and then I may have to either accept the gum or pull out, because of the person's mind. I don't live in that place where a lot of people live. Anyway, But that said, no, I can see the gutter from here, but that's not. Anyway, the hello, hey, how you doing down there? Anyway, so anyway, the thing we're going to bring up is, given that I'm going back to the calendar, my lodestone, my touchstone, for all things, and with the idea, the knowledge, the understanding that this is the 5th day of the month of the wolf, in remembrance of stillborn friendships. And so I'm trying to figure out how to express this as a spider. And so I think the best way to express things as a spider in this sort of environment is in writing. So we're going to do a little bit of Charlotte.
Some pig.
Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of Charlotte's Webbing. And oh, God. Well, yeah, this is terrible for a person's real mental health, but the way that, well, here's the plan. The message that I'm putting in the web. Who made you choose? Did they make you choose before they abandoned you?
The thing you hear as you are flying outwards on this wave of righteousness and adherence to the calendar is, I am Kel. I choose to choose. Which is like, that's it doesn't really work like that. It's like one thing trying to cover another thing.
I choose to choose. But someone chose you.
And on the wave of that, you flash back into your mind from your scrying, and you have a very now, like, as you're all in the room with them, nothing was really happening until it looked like Graydon pulled back, and now this Kel sort of twitches and stumbles and collapses onto the ground, which is, pretty good, after a scrying, all things considered.
I am going to calmly, so there's a moment, basically, after I've pulled back, I'm just like, just sort of, then we'll calmly take the gloves and start putting them back on, just completely irrespective of whatever it is that that Blaine is doing currently, wherever in the room Blaine has ended up, and I will just sort of step around Your eye taste.
Yeah.
I point to the gum. Please have that analyzed.
Okay. I'm like kind of torn between my instruments and like the guy on the floor.
Yeah,
I
during
but I
yeah,
Go
during
ahead.
all this, your instruments picked up you're basically looking at a sine wave, a cylindrical sine wave, and your instruments picked up with like a hair's breadth of a secondary sine wave in the room while the scrying was happening.
Hmm.
It's like they're so close together, it could be mistaken for the same wave.
I'm kind of squinting. I'm like, I like I don't say anything right now. I think I need to go back and look at the manual because this isn't really my specialty. I only have basic training in this. I wanna go ruminate. I just kind of go and I just kind of lean over the guy. I just check his pulse really quick. I'm just making sure that he is regular unconscious.
Pulse is erratic, not heart attack, but just like
Elevated.
yeah, it's
Um,
elevated.
I I stand up and I pick up the tube and I'm doing my absolute best to be chill about this. I have never seen any of this shit before. I just kind of stick it in my pocket. I'm like, all right, I'll have this checked out. You think maybe medical for
One moment.
okay. I back away.
Rahel Graydon. Wrath, mercy, or service?
Oh, I don't know that we know quite enough yet for Wrath, but I'm not inclined to mercy right now.
So you're saying that this individual needs to be re-educated? Or
Yes,
would you like me to use my methods to get more information?
Ah, well, I don't know if he entirely knows what he knows that he knows what he knows, if you follow my meaning.
Are you certain?
Not completely about that yet, but I can tell you something. Someone has put a very deliberate block in there.
You are telling me that this man has a block against scrying.
Oh, yes. It's very sophisticated, as far as I can tell. More so, at least, than one would ever expect to encounter, especially in this is just the first rank, yes?
Hell infantry.
Yes, he
Hell,
is.
hell infantry.
Yeah. It's very unusual. And it's a question of whether or not sure if the gum is directly involved or if it's just a more symbolizing something or just a symptom. But it seems rather baked in. There's something There's definitely a connection with it, even if it's not the substance itself. The trading of it is connected to something. There's and there are others.
So
There
you're
are-
saying that there is a possible heresy on board this vessel?
Yes.
I see. Well, looks down. Unless you instruct me to, I will leave this individual at their current level of displeasure.
All right, well, we can probably learn more from it. Yes, if we can probably learn a bit more from his displeasure a little bit. don't think he's had quite enough time to cook yet.
Isolation.
Yeah, just a bit. And,
Excellent. I will see to it immediately.
Yeah. Good. Excellent.
All right. I think with taking away Kel Blaine, that this would be a good time to kind of wrap things up for tonight.
Could I was just gonna say, could I do one more thing?
Sure.
Okay. I was just gonna say, if we are all parting ways, like Kel Blaine is
Like Duncan picks up Blaine like a baby
carries him off.
and just gently, but again, that his steps glide across the deck. Long strides as he goes and will deposit him in the brig.
I just snap my briefcase closed. I'm like, all right, well, now we're back in my comfort zone. I'm gonna do science to this thing. And I go back to my quarters, and I take one of the gums immediately. Immediately. I like sit down on my bunk and just pop one instantly. Like I'm gonna figure this shit out. Best way to do it. And if you want it, like I just wanted to get that in before we
Sure.
wrapped up.
Yes, we will drop on the gum being chewed. What you got there?
Like I am just picturing like almost a la The Expanse, like the right taste, like just laying down on like his bunk and just taking this, popping it in, headphones in, music playing. And it's just,
Yeah. I mean, the Nirai I saw taking it looked pretty chilled out. So, like, you know, I've had a really stressful day. I mean, I just want to see what's going on here. So, anyway,
all along the watchtowers playing for some reason.
That's so good.
Someone in the audience is very much enjoying the gum. I love it.
Yes. The gum is the way.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, we'll see what kind of effects it has. I'm doing a
Chew
science.
your way to your destiny.
Yeah, I'm doing a science. I'm
All
gonna
right,
find it.
we will pick up with a gum.
A gum.
Come with me, and you'll see a world of your imagination.
Just having this
If
flashback
Wonka's
to
involved, it's all heresy. All just heresy.
it's the weirdest thing for me to say, but I'm having a flashback to an episode of Barney Miller, where like there's these brownies show up and they might be drugged, and he says, "Here, take these and have them analyzed," and he starts eating them. And it's like, not that way.
You know, there's a bunch in this tube, and I've already seen a guy who has more. So, like, I'm gonna do a little preliminary science, and then we'll get the instruments on it later. You know.
All right.
Excellent. Well, this is great. I think thus far at least 2 out of our 4 PCs are terrible people. And oh my god. So, but it's this is going to be good. I think this is going to be really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and go around to do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts that you had about this session, and plug anything you like, etc., etc. And we are going to start with Hollow.
Hey, I'm Hollow. I'm the GM here. Also, the calendar, as you can see below. I had a wonderful time putting together some of the beats for this game as we are going to be moving forward. Some of the characters in the party has their own goals that we will explore in further games. Also, maybe Duncan kills everybody in a big old heresy fireball. We don't know yet, but anything's on the table, right? And I love this game. I love that I can share this game and the world of the Machineries of Empire universe with people. I love the books, and I love just what we're going to be able to do together here.
Yes. Excellent. No, this is gonna be so good. And thank you so much for bringing this to us, because this has been wonderful so far. And now we will head over to Ewan.
Sure, I'm Ewan. You can find me nowhere in particular. I reread all of the books as homework before this game, which got me all jazzed up about them all over again. Big fan. Yoon Ha Lee, you're great. That's about it for me. Really excited to see where this goes.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope's World Build on the internets. First pleasure than business. It has just been absolute delight this entire time. Paulo, thank you so much for running this, for sharing a world you clearly love and love dearly with us, and making it so easy to step into. And you and I look forward to tormenting Tace for days. We're going to make this last, hopefully longer than the gum. And Jim, again, it's always a delight to share any table with you. And I of course, you have dream powers, because who else at this table should have dream powers? And being, I look forward to many more interrogation sessions. I don't know if I'm speaking for myself, for Duncan, for both, but I look forward to them. And I look forward to being back here in a week's time. But before that, if you want to see more of this silly face, your next opportunity is Sunday night over on Praxis Thesmophoria, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some Vampire the Dark Ages. It is 12:35 in Sicily. There's a lot of political machinations going on, and within the city of Siracusa, a bunch of members of the Low Clans there have held an Elysium, and one of the Sombra's representatives have said, you need to pick a prince. And it's not going well. So please, if you want to see that disaster, come join us there. And then in a week's time, please join us back here for more Ninefox Gambit. Take care of yourselves and one another. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Yay! Awesome. This is good. This is so good. I loved everybody's characters thus far. This was so good, and just the contrast, and then just the with Tace and with us. It's just so good. Just having just Pope go down into the training area and just immediately pick a fight was delightful, and then just everything about Tace, just in general, being so terribly nervous all the time, like in a pressure cooker.
It's very situational.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then at the end, just immediately taking the gum. That was so good.
This is my bailiwick.
I loved that so much. And just I do love how richly Hollow is describing everything, and it's there is a lot. I've only read the first book, but there's so much to this world, and Hollow is presenting it wonderfully, and so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens next. And hopefully next week we will have Nikki with us so we can get his Kel in, so we can see what that's gonna do to the dynamic. Sort of see what happens. But as for me, who am I? I ask that question at the end of every stream, and at the end of every stream, I still have no answer. But for the time being, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things if you're watching this on Twitch. Holy crap. That is something happened. Oh, thank you for doing the gift sub, Critwitch. Thanks so much. They changed something. Streamlabs changed the animations on me, so I was confused for a moment. But that's very cool. Thanks so much for that. Thank you. But that said, nothing happened. Everything is fine on this channel. When we have folks available, real life has been bombarding us. But when we have folks available on Sunday afternoons, I run a game of Alas for the Awful Sea reskinned to be Gothic sci-fi, and so it is Alas for the Angry Void is the name of that game. One of the folks you see on the screen in front of you is in that game.
Yep.
And our calendar is there playing a delightful canned goods salesman. Who,
Yes.
strangely enough, is acquiring a phenomenal amount of universal pull lately. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're getting closer to the end of the campaign at this point. We probably, I imagine, might only have a handful of sessions left depending on how things go. So it's we have a lot of within a few days a very powerful extra-dimensional entity might get released. We're not sure which one yet, but one of them, because there are several currently imprisoned. We'll see what happens, if that's preventable.
The one best for revenue, we hope.
Yes, one hopes. The one best for revenue is the one that will be released. Oh my God. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that's on Sunday afternoons when we have folks available. And then, of course, Tuesday evenings, we're doing this for a while. So please come back next week if you're so inclined, and we will be doing more and kind of seeing where things go. So when we hit the end card, we're going to go send a raid to somebody, and there are several people currently streaming. So I did not look at it before we got to this point, so we'll figure it out. But feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. Again, that will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.